let's do a little, just a little intro, and just so people can get to know who you are.
Yeah, my name is Mauer, aka Ryan, if you know me like that, or through contacts. Yeah. And I've been making music for, I think, about 6 years now. I've been producing under the Mauer name for a while. And my first single, I think, was like 2018. So almost 4 years now. I make, I was known for progressive house for a long time. And then I started kind of getting too comfortable doing like too much stuff like that. And then I went on and did a bunch of other genres. And now I kind of, oh my God, I'm all over the place. But a little bit about me. I am from Pennsylvania, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And I've always had a thing for music. I've always been it's been drawn to me. I've always done music. I think I learned guitar right when I was like 17 in high school. And right off the bat, within 2 weeks of learning, I was like learning like Metallica riffs and Iron.
You wanted to go fast. You wanted to like.
I literally wanted to learn everything that was humanly possible. I'm like, is that difficult? I want to learn that. And then I learned everything that was really difficult firsthand, and got really good at guitar. And then I started trying to do music through a different alias before. It was like 2014, 2015. I was doing a lot of different stuff with guitar and indie stuff because at the time I was like big into intervals, Pliny, Animals as Leaders, Polyphia.
Dude, Polyphia is making like such a hard. I mean, I know that for those who know them, they've been around for a while, but I just recently found out about them, and their production is just like so high quality now.
Welcome to the team. Welcome to the fun, bro. You've been missing out for the better half of almost 10 years, kind of.
I know. Now I'm like a super fan. It's just like I feel like everything they put out, I'm just like, oh my God, this is so just technical, and I don't know. It's amazing.
What else is there to say? Oh yeah, so I've literally from 17 years old to like about, I want to say probably 20, 21, I was just kind of hardcore, like metal, rock, and jazz fusion and stuff like that. All the good stuff, you know. I was learning all that stuff on guitar, and then I was writing my own stuff. And then I didn't really go anywhere with that in indie kind of sound or anything like that I was doing. It was more about just putting whatever was in my brain there. And I thought, oh, this is a cool EP that I did. Like, and then that was that. And then right around 2016, 2017, I was like, you know what, I should probably get more into this electronic music. Cause like, I think it was probably back in 2014, 2015, I was working at Radio Shack, which is a very old fashioned sentence. And
yeah,
I was working there. And then whenever I'd be driving home from work, I would always put on random album title, and I'd always have that on loop like all the time. And then that kind of got me into his music around that time. And then 2014 was when he had While 1/2 come out, that album. And then
talking about Dead Mouse.
Yeah. He was one of the ones that kind of got me into electronic music and all that, and as well as Cascade. And then a lot of the other stuff too that kind of followed after that was like, always been a Daft Punk fan and stuff like that too. But then there were other ones that like Feed Me was one of them too. Com Trues, I'm a really big fan of. Tycho. And I was just diving into that realm of all this like ambient, synthwave, electro house, prog house, deep, whatever. I was just kind of going all in on it. And then right up about that time, I was like, I could do that. And then I kind of abandoned that whole indie kind of sound where I was like, oh, you know what? I could probably fix my way into like the whole indie sound or like instrumental artist type of stuff that, Polyphia and Intervals and Pliny and all them other guys have been doing. And then I saw how good they were, and I'm like, fuck, I can't do that. And so I started making electronic music around 2017, 2016. And then right up until that point, like around 2018, I started just making so much progressive house music and then other experimental stuff too. And I think around the time, like 2019, I was like really into like 1788L stuff too. And I was getting into all that experimental stuff for a little while. And then I kind of went back to my old sound. But for the better half of 4.5 years, I've just been doing what I can with what I have. And oh my God, it's kind of crazy. I'm excited for what's to come.
Hell yeah. Well, thank you, man, for that little brief history of your music journey. I just wanted to highlight really quick what's going on in the background. To your is that yeah, you're right.
Oh, right there.
Oh no. Yeah.
So that right there, that actually was a demo I did. This was kind of like right when I established my name. I think it was like 2017. It's funny. I started all that branding and naming and stuff like before I even had music. I'm just like, all right, I have to, which is kind of, I think people should do that more. They should think of the name and then treat it like a business. Think of their name, whatever they're going to do, their logo and branding first, and then keep on doing whatever they're going to do and put out whatever product. And then you're already good. But this, I found an old CRT at this like dump, like one of my local dumps and all that stuff like that too. They charge you to take this stuff too, which is
really,
oh my God. Oh yeah, they're like, yo, pay us $80 to take that, and I'm like, you kidding me? Can I have it for free? They're like I'll just take it. I don't care. They don't charge you to take it. They charge you to give it to the recycling plant or whomever. Yeah, if you wanted to recycle it, because these things are so hard to recycle. Because not only is it just like hard plastic, but at the same time they have like that vacuum tube in there. And I remember my friend shot one with a BB one time, and that thing was like exploded. That was awesome. But I remember building this, and this was kind of like a prototype thing I did back in 2017. And I've got so many more monitors that are just sitting over underneath my bed and all that stuff like that too. But this I can actually put on my head. It's not comfortable, but I can wear it. I can wear it. It's not comfortable though.
Is it heavy?
Yeah, it's heavy. I mean, the only thing you're going to have to try to do if you're ever going to make any of these is just build it out of like carbon fiber or something, or just any sort of lightweight plastic. So that way it still looks like the same thing, but not a toll on your neck.
Oh yeah. Can you see out of it well?
Yeah, you can actually. I can.
Really?
I can't put the headphones on while I'm in there, but if you want, I can.
Maybe we can. If you want to do a demo,
I'll do a demo time.
Hell yeah.
Demo time. Oh.
The transformation. Dude. Epic.
I can see out of here.
That's crazy. Did you
perfectly clear out of there? The only thing I have to try to do would probably be to what's it called? Try to rig it up so that way the power button there, so that the power button does something.
Yeah, like turns on lights or something.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people are getting fancy with their stuff now, where they kind of go all out on that, where they make whatever it is and it just.
Did you change the screen of that, or is that like the stock whatever?
So what you could do is it's like plexiglass, and then from there what you do is you get like the window tint stuff.
Yeah.
You get like window tint and you put it over that, so you can like kind of you can see out, but they can't see in. And I was like, that was a good idea.
Hell yeah.
Quick. Yeah, I thought that was a really good idea. I was like, let me put some window tint on that.
If I saw a dude on stage with that, I would be like, yo, this guy's in it.
He's in something, all right.
Yeah, he's in something. Well, I already have a few questions, but I do like to start with a little like icebreakery question, and that is, what was the first concert you ever went to?
First concert I ever went to was probably Foo Fighters back in 2011 when they were on their Wasting Light tour. That was my favorite band for the better half of like, probably since I was a kid. I grew up with that band, and I was like listening to all the CDs, had everything of Foo Fighters and all that. And then I remember it was April. It was 2012 when, or was it 2011? No, it was 2011. It was 2011 when their album came out, Wasting Light. And I remember I downloaded it. This was back when Zune was still a thing. Oh, shout out. And I was like, yo, I got all these Microsoft points. Let's run it. And then so I downloaded that album and I was just listening to it like on a rainy morning on my way to high school. And I was just like, damn. So it was one of my favorite albums was Wasting Light. Oh my God. But that was my first concert was Foo Fighters back in 2011. So 11 years ago. I think it was like November too. Yeah. It's been a while.
Nice. That's a good first concert. Foo Fighters slap. So I mean,
oh, they played for like 3 hours. It was
really wow.
Yeah, they came out for an encore and then a double encore, and I'm like, these guys are nuts. Like, I mean, they had a lot of energy back then.
Oh yeah, awesome, man. Well, that's killer. I feel like some people are just like, yeah, I don't remember my first concert, or like, I don't my first.
Oh,
like,
I distinctly remember. What about you?
My first concert was lame. I went to the Fray with my mom, which was pretty like, you know, my mom always talks about it.
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah, that was a great concert. I'm like, yeah, but like, also it wasn't, you know, the Foo Fighters or something. But you know what? You can't unwrite what is written. So we gotta go with it. We gotta roll with the punches.
Hey, I love the Fray though. They're a good band. So
yeah, they're good. They're good. I've probably talked about that so many times now. I met someone, just to add something new, I met someone not too long ago at a party, and I was like telling them, somehow it came up that I had a podcast, and I was like, yeah, it's really funny. I always ask people what their first concert is. And she was like, oh, my first concert was the Fray. And I was like, oh my God, no way. Like, I've met another. So yeah, that was just
like one of us.
One of us. But I did want to, start out, play a song, and then we can talk more about the music and some of that stuff. Because, you know, this is a music podcast.
Yeah, we got to get music down.
Where would you like to start? Do you want to start with this 2012?
We can start with that, yeah. That was my most recent release. That was September that it came out.
Cool. Let's choose whichever you'd like.
You know what? Choose track number 2, because that's of a guy that you know personally too.
Oh yeah, well, back when he was on the podcast, he was going by Parallel, but
remember those days too.
One day we'll get Pax on as well.
Oh, we need to.
This name is funny to me too, Dave Studa.
Yeah, we had another one. If you click on his name there, and then if you scroll down, you'll see the one there is Old Jimmerman.
So it's a trend.
Yeah, we were like, you know what? And then I think we were working on one called Porgan Mage too. So
of course, he loves Morgan Page, so that makes total sense.
You got to keep it going.
Is there anything you want to say about this track before, we get into it?
Shout out to Pax Romanov, awesome producer, awesome guy. He's got really great music, but he needs to start putting it out. It's my only critique. Just start putting out the music, man.
The struggle's real,
Oh, I know.
It's hard sometimes. But all right, let's hit it.
The funny thing about this track was he was showing me like an early version of this, and I said, oh, that sounds pretty good. And he's like, really? I was going to bin this. And I'm like, no way. And then he was like, well, you want to work on it? And I'm like, that's why we're here. And so we started working on it. And then he's like, what should I call this? And then I'm just like, we should keep with the trend, man. And then he's like, you got it. And then we did. That's how Deep Studio was made.
I mean, was this made with Serum?
Yeah, it was made with Serum. It would have to be.
It would have to be, yeah.
To keep with the trend, yeah. I do love this part though, where it just swells into it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, those like growly things. I don't know. Those are always nice. He always does those well.
Oh, I know he does those well. Like this entire album would not have been possible with him, Abnormal Entity, D Night. Like most of the songs were from the other perspective, so that's why I kind of felt like I was like, oh, like I didn't contribute as much, but they all work hard. They all put in all this good effort into these songs.
I'm just curious, like how this whole thing came to be. Why is it called 2012?
So usually what I do is maybe not last year, but every year, I think since 2019, every year I would always be inspired by whatever year it was, and I was like, oh, I'll just label it that, because I was inspired by like a bunch of songs that were from like 2009 or something like that. And then I kind of did that style for a while, where it was like in 2019, 2009, and then 2020 did 2010, and then 2021 I didn't really do anything like that. I then decided to just put out an EP, and that was like it was like a ton of different genre styles. Like some of it was like getting more experimental dubstep, and then some of it was more complextro, some of it was more like breakbeat, and then other ones like down tempo. And then this year it's when I was like, oh, I put out the 2012 album. But truth be told, there was so many more tracks that I was going to put on that album, and then I thought, you know what, I think it only needs about 8. And then that's when I did. I was like, you know what, let me just narrow it down. And all the guys that I collaborated with on there, all of them close friends of mine that I've known for the better half of like maybe 2 or 3 years now. And that's been the whole shtick. Every year I was like, all right, I'll call it whatever year it was 10 years ago. Because that's what like most of my music would be kind of based off, where I'm just like, oh, I'm inspired by this like this year, or oh, I'm inspired by this year. But nowadays it's changing like every day for me, where I'm like inspired by this, and I'm just like, all right, and I like make something that's completely different than anything I've ever made. It is kind of like that though.
And then the font is like, is this also an homage to like, random album title or?
Yeah, a lot of that symbolism, I've kind of been doing that too, where I try to just take inspiration, not really so much as copy so much of any artist like that too, because then you become a copy of that, and you'll kind of never really kind of get out of that rut if you just keep on doing that. So that's why I try to switch it up a little bit with different covers that I do, where it's like either just like a really cool image, like there was one I did with Stephen Layden, shout out to Stephen Layden, where it was like opulence, and it was that was more like a chill vaporwave type of track. And like the artwork, I remember I was designing it with him, and he's like, what if it was like a like opulence, where it's like always like mindful of money and all that, and then it was like kind of this, it's a really cool cover. I still have it. It's, oh my God, it's so awesome. But anyway, the way we were designing it, I was like, oh, you know what, I should switch up so that I'm not so much like doing the same thing every time, where it's like just like this one form factor, and it's all you're kind of known for. And that's why I kind of switch it up every now and then to try and keep a little bit on the toes there too. But
yeah, that makes sense.
I think, sorry to cut you off, but I was going to say, like the year prior, back in 21, was when I did that. And I did this play on words for, it was because one of my favorite Star Wars movies is Revenge of the Sith. And then I did Revenge of the Synth EP. And I did that. And that EP was modeled heavily after the Scary Monsters and Nice Sprites EP, as well as the Bangarang EP from Skrillex. I was heavily into that stuff at the time in like late 2020. And I wrote that whole EP within like a month. And I just kind of sat at the side, and I'm like, I need a cover for this. And for like a straight year, I was like, what do I do with this? This is just sitting here waiting to be played, and I don't have a cover for it. And that's when I was like, let me combine Star Wars meets like Skrillex type with that too. So that's why I'm like, I take inspiration wherever I can from whatever is influencing me at the time and all that stuff.
Could we listen to one off that? Is that on Spotify?
Yeah. That's on Spotify too. Do Break the Ice. I think a lot of people like this one. It's I was channeling my inner Skrillex and Boys Noise with this one, as well as just like taking different sampling of stuff too, and then kind of keeping up with like the likes of like Mort Fustang, as well as some early Madeon and early Zed too. I was kind of channeling all those different 2012, like I was saying, or 2011 type of music, I was going to put a CRT on there, and then I thought maybe I should just kind of start attaching the face to it, because then it's like a neat little branding trick there too. because it's like when they see that, they think of my name, or when they see the monitor, they think of my name. When they see my name, they think of the monitor and the smiley face. So it's kind of like it's like a branding trifecta. And I'm just like, all right, cool. I'm glad I got that going.
That'll do. Ooh, that glitchy stuff, like at the top of that top line, is really cool.
Yeah, a little bit of like Barely Alive type stuff.
I love those chords. Wolfgang Gartner type.
Yeah, that was fucking love Wolfgang Gardner.
He's so dope.
That was also a big inspiration for that 2012 album, was his Backstory, I think was the name of the album. And it was like the Cesso Boino one, and then there was like Flashback was one too. I don't know if that was on, I'm trying to remember. I know Wolfgang's Fifth Symphony was on there. There's another one too, but more importantly,
yeah. Il America was just so...
Oh yeah.
That one was...
What a good time.
My fave. Yeah.
Yeah, and then the Allow Me to Break the Ice sample, and there was from I think it was Mr. Freeze, when there was Schwarzenegger when he played in the Batman movie. Like, allow me to break the ice. So I sampled that, and I'm like, you know what? This is good.
Do you do a lot of your own mixing?
Actually, for all the music I've put out, aside from like numerous collabs and stuff like that, I've done like all the mixing, I've done all the mastering, I've done most of the cover art too. I do all the distribution. I'm a one-man band over here.
Yeah, that's what Sam was saying, is, you know, there's a lot of hats that you wear.
Oh, I've got a whole closet of hats, dude. It's insane. I need a hat rack. Like, I need a hat rack for my hat rack. That's how many hats I'm wearing right now. I do all the mixing, mastering, and then for all those different ones that I've worked on with numerous collabs and such, like Sam Pax Romanoff. He was the one who did all that in Ableton. I think I wrote some of it too on my guitar, and same goes for when I was working with Abnormal Entity, when we were doing a lot of those songs, is that I would write the melody on guitar, and then I would transpose it to MIDI, and I would just send it to him and be like, here you go, fool around with this. And then he'd come back and he'd say like, dude, this melody, how'd you write this? I just point to my guitar, I'm like, I did it with this.
So you do a lot of the melodies on the guitar, and then you just like use the transcribed audio. It's pretty good. I feel like if you have a pretty clean take, like it'll get it.
So the one beneath that, so Sophomore Year, that main lead that comes in, that plays from the beginning, I wrote that one on guitar too, where I was kind of like playing it. And all I do is I just put on like the background in my headphones, and as I'm playing it, I'm like, okay, what would I play over this? And then I did that for a while too, with different songs. Some of them is just experimentation. Some of them it's just trying it out with like different scales in theory. And you're like, okay, if this is in this key, then I know I can kind of tread around these waters. And then if it's in that, then I can go around here. It's all about what the tastes are to the artist. Like, that's why I'm like, you know what? Let them run with it.
Right. Yeah. Like, what do people want to be listening to? Let's.
Like I said, like I wrote that main lead melody.
That diddle-diddle.
Yeah, I wrote that on my guitar, and I was like, oh yeah, this is good.
Very cool. I was thinking we could go to some of the like more obscure things, because even if you go back to 2012, this one,
oh yeah, Please Stand By is a good one.
Is very like, it's almost like, I don't know, I think about Calvin Harris's 12 Months. I think that's what the album's called, but there's this song called School on it that's just like totally different, and I'm like, this is the best track. This one was very different. And maybe you can explain a little bit like who D Night is, and I feel like you probably already
really great producer. Yeah, I think I did shout him out, but I'll shout him out again though. But congrats to all the guys on this album that like made it possible. They're all awesome, and I wouldn't be here if it weren't for them helping me out on all those tracks. But that one, Please Stand By, funny enough, it was actually so D Night, really great producer. He needs to start putting out some tracks. Oh my god, he's got such great stuff.
That's like the main piece of advice. It's like, producers, put out your tracks.
Yeah, literally, like, always put out your songs. Like, my message to everyone who's a young artist starting out doing whatever, like, just put out your music. Literally YouTube and just put like a little unreleased thing in the brackets, or make a playlist of all these unreleased stuff on your SoundCloud. Just like get it out there and just show people who you are, what you do, all that stuff. But so D Night, this one, Please Stand By, I remember he wrote this like throwaway track. Like he wrote this entirely himself. And a lot of the time with this song, he was playing it over and over again. He's like, this is just such a meme song. And I'm just, what do you mean meme song? He's like, this just feels like elevator music that you'd play whenever they're like, you're playing live and it's just like, shit, like the cable's out. And then like you play this song and just be like, hey guys, we're working on it. Hey, shout out to D Night. He's the one who is to thank for like all this.
Video game bossa nova-y, like.
Yeah, when I have my own DVD, this is what the menu music will be.
Oh yeah.
Reports as yet. Please stand by for further details. We return you now to your regularly scheduled.
Let's start it off with the, where it actually sounds like it's kind of like you're in the bathroom, but then you then go back out and then you come back in and then you come back out, and it's kind of like both at the same time.
But it's like the oasis of the party where you're like, oh bro, I'm too fucked up. And you're just like, this is like some Euphoria shit where you're just like
this is like
HBO.
I've thought about doing some sync licensing where you kind of just, it's like I own all my music. I don't really have any sort of, I never signed any deal, or I never signed with these guys or did that or whatever like that. I'm not on any like major label, whatever type stuff. I kind of did everything from the ground up, worked my way to where I'm at. Crazy. And always thankful for all the fans that have stuck by me, all the friends that have stuck by me, continue to stick by me, and then everybody that enjoys my music too. Like, look at this. This was August 28th of 2019, and yet somehow people still listen to this on a regular basis. And that's why I tell, like you tell people too, like always put out anything that you think like, oh, I should just bin this.
Well, I'm telling myself that too, because I definitely think that sometimes.
Yeah, man, you have to. You gotta start putting it out. So like at least one person will like any song you put out, like no matter what, like unless you're trying on purpose to make it sound so bad.
It's just like white noise.
But unless you're trying to make it sound bad, I don't think anyone's gonna hate your music. They may like not like you. Like, look at some of the actors and TV show people. Like people hate Tom Cruise, but they love some of his movies. So
Bro, I have no problem with Tom Cruise. He's pretty sick, honestly. Like,
and that's what I'm saying. Like where people could not like the person, but they love the art. It's so much. Like acting. So I wouldn't.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had so much music. Like you can even if you go back, you hit the back arrow there.
Yeah, you have a lot of stuff. Like
if you see all, and then stuff. I was gonna say, click the little thing in the corner, like that little click that.
Oh my god, dude! I didn't even realize that was a thing, but like that's so much better.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you.
Learning moment. That right there. This ain't 2008. That one right there. Like that's an old track of mine from like 2 years ago. And I remember when I was writing it, I was like looking at this one finance article. And this was like probably like right after like COVID hit and all that stuff. And they're like, this ain't 2008. And I'm like, I like that. So then I stuck that aside and I was like, this is a cool song for the title. And then I made that. And then I'm like, dude, this is like, oh my God, it's such a cool title. And then such a cool thing concept too. And then like, that's kind of how I started doing that too, where I would be like, this ain't 2008, this ain't 2007. And I kept going on with that, where I would be literal in a sense. And
yeah.
Like there are songs from this time period, like in 2020, where I could look back and I'm like, yeah, I didn't really like that song that much, but I'm not going to remove it. Don't ever remove any of your music. Like artists, I'm telling you, do not remove any of your music. Someone somewhere will like it. Send it to me. I'll listen to it. Like,
yeah. Well, and it'll probably just randomly get plays at some point, you know, like I don't.
It'll cycle back into rotations at some point, like you're saying. Yeah, it'll come back around.
Yeah. Yeah.
I remember I wrote this, and then I was like, yeah, this is a good like 2008 deep prog house kind of sound I was going for. And then I was like, all right, I'll put that out like that. And
yeah, this is nice.
I look back at so much stuff that I've put out and I'm like, holy crap. But I did the number. I have over 7 hours of music released.
Damn,
so far.
That's great. Nice, man. That's awesome. Keep going.
And I don't intend to stop. And I think I hit over 100 songs. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I think over 100 songs. I'm pretty sure.
Nice.
I lost count after like 50, but
I wanted to ask you about just like, you know, I was talking to Sam and he was saying like how you have a Discord server and you're kind of someone that's like cultivating, you know, the community and whatnot. So I'm just like, what goes down in the Discord server? Like, how do you cultivate that?
I like that, down in the Discord. Primarily, it was the collapse of the old server we had. It was a fan server of Deadmau5, believe it or not. And because a lot of us didn't like the mouse chord because it just like people that were like in control of it, and they were like, you can't say that about his music. I'm like, I just told you I just didn't like this song and you're gonna get mad at me? Like, artists make bad songs. I've made bad songs. But moreover, last year in June, it was like right after I had like oral mouth surgery. They literally like broke my jaw in half and shit.
Jeez.
Oh yeah, it's because I had like a narrow palate and all that. They were like, yo, you're gonna have health problems breathing and shit if you don't get your mouth all big enough to fit more wieners in there. And I'm like, nah, all right, fine.
I'm gonna need
fine
that.
by me.
Yeah.
Like, damn, a perk. But they did all that, and after surgery, I then started my server. This was like probably June. It was like middle of June last year. And then now it's like over 100 and something members, probably like 120 members or something like that. But a lot of the people that were in the original mouse server came over and they started expressing themselves more. They started believing themselves more. They started sharing more. Like sometimes I look over in the Discord and I see people hanging out in there, like when I'm not in there, and I'm like, that's pretty dope. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That you can have people interact with each other from different walks of life, and you don't have to be there. Like I know whenever I do hang out in there, like everyone just hops in and they're just like, dude, how you been, blah blah blah. Like they're all having fun and stuff. Like I don't take myself too seriously, so we have a lot of fun trolling in there, stuff like that too. Like for those of you that want something fun, there's this really funny video where it's like 1 hour silence broken by like, you know, like bruh and like vine boom and fart sounds and stuff. And you can put that on during a movie. Funny as shit. Oh my god. But like we would literally just put a bot in there and then just like be having a conversation, all of a sudden just like random bruh just comes out of nowhere.
Dude, that's like, so funny. Like it just randomly like synchronously hits at the right moment. You're like, oh my god.
That's all we do. We just have fun in there. We just kind of collaborate off each other, or we just seek music feedback, whatever like that too. I have like a concept art channel in there. People can throw their most recent works of art in there. People can like share anything there in there too. Self promo, like any usual music artist Discord server. But I try to focus more on the community aspect, not so much like, hey guys, check my stuff out. Like I'll throw my stuff in there. Yeah. Like I'll throw my stuff in there here and there too. And I won't make such a big deal out of it. Like I won't like at everyone ping or anything like that too. I'll just kind of throw it in there and be like, hey guys, appreciate it. Thank you. Stay smooth, whatever. I will say it's kind of crazy how big of a community it is. And I'm thankful for all the people that like are in there, that continue to support me in there, that love my music, and just so much respect and love for all those people in there that continue to stay, contribute, and all that stuff. Forever thankful for that. But
hell yeah, man. That's awesome.
Great community.
If you had an opportunity to open for deadmau5, would that be like a dream?
I wouldn't mind opening for him. I say that like
okay, yeah.
Be like maybe like I know, you know what, I would love to open for him. I've always looked up to him, always inspired by his stuff. More so I was really inspired by him from like 06, 07 till about, I want to say 2014, 2015. And then I haven't really liked a lot of his stuff in the past couple of years. The last thing I liked of his was probably Pomegranate. And that was about it. Every new song that drops now, it just really doesn't really do it for me. But to be fair, I give him credit because he's been doing it for over 20 years now.
I know. I saw him recently in Chicago. He's like, yeah, I'm still out here. I can't believe I'm still doing it. And I was just like, yeah, I mean, kudos.
That's just the grind. You just got to keep going. And I would love to open for him. I would love to open for Feed Me as well. I'd love to open for that guy. I would love to open for, I know it's not like my primary genre, but I would love to do like a vaporwave set or like a chill wave set and open for like Tycho or Comtrues. That'd be awesome. Fun fact, I don't know if it is still now. I think I checked the other day, but like Comtrues is like one of my favorite artists and like one of my idols. Dude follows me on Instagram, and I was like what? And I had to do a double take. I'm like, no way. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
I thought that was really cool.
Let's I want to listen to another track, and then, you know, let's see what time. We've been going for a little bit, and you know, I don't want to keep it all night, but let's listen to another track, and then I got a little wrap up question, and then we can just like chat too if you want.
Awesome. Yeah. Oddly enough, is a fun one of mine. I think I made that right around the same time as the Saint 2008 too. I think so, yeah. It was like 2020. I was doing a lot of different like mouse techniques mixed with like Wolfgang Gardner, and then there was also some tidbits I took from like Abstract too. Here at times, I think it was like some of the drums from like Protest the Hero, another favorite band of mine. Yeah, so I'm saying like during 2020, I literally just went ham on all that stuff. I was just going through and I was doing a lot of progressive house, a lot of deep prog and like trance kind of elements in there too. I still have so much music from like that time period, and I just need to slowly start putting it out and then make way for all the new stuff coming out too. So
let's talk a little bit about like what's the future. What are some plans, some things in the works?
So plans. I haven't uploaded it yet, but I do want to put out this one song just in time for midterms. It's called I call it Propaganda, and instead of propaganda, and like the usual format how I do there, where it's like the monitor and then like the text on the side, it's all cropped out, all fucked up and shit. So I did that, and I'm like, oh my god, this is such a troll. And literally the song itself, it's like 7.5 minutes long. It's such a deep progressive house one. It's like just 7.5 minutes long. And then right when it gets to there, it just cuts out. And I'm just like, oh, I couldn't think of a perfect ending to this. Propaganda. I'll put that out sometime this year. Don't know when, but I'll put it out sometime this year. And I know next year I want to put out this remix that, shout out to Vytrom, Vytrom. He is good friends with Abnormal Entity, and then he introduced me to him, and they have like their own little group of friends too, and like they all kind of hop in the server too, and like they all have, oh my god, they're all talented too. Like it's just crazy, just like one big melting pot of just awesome sound and all that stuff going on. And he did this really amazing remix of my song Watch Your Step from DLC Pack 1, which was like 2019, and it was so long ago, but he made this amazing remix of it, and I want to put that out sometime next year. There is another DLC Pack 3. I have that one.
Is that your sample pack?
Yeah. No, it's actually just here, go scroll up a little bit, and then I'm sorry, go down. I meant the other way, and then see all.
The other up.
And then scroll down. There's DLC Pack 1. I was kind of going for like a Call of Duty Zombies type of feel for that cover art there. And this was one of my favorite EPs that I made too, because it was just so like early on in like my journey as an artist as to like what I can do and where I want to go. And some of the riffs in there too were written on my guitar too. And then this is such a nice encapsulation of like what it was to be me like early on in my journey of sound, if you will. But he did a remix of that Watch Your Step one. Fair warning, it does start off with like a nice serum patch where it's just loud as balls, and then it cuts to like this I recorded like the Amazon, I'm not going to say her name because then she'll hear me. I recorded her literally saying "Watch Your Step" and I just threw it in there, and I'm like, LOL, like this is funny. And then I put it out, and then Vytrom was like, dude, this song is awesome, can I remix it? And I'm like, damn, this track old as hell, you sure? And then he's like, yeah, I love the sound of it. And I'm just like, okay, cool, go ahead. So people will find awesome things about it, like no matter how old it is. Like they'll go back and be like, damn, this is cool. Plus people get to see your progression as an artist. They look at you from here where you started and they listen to it and they're like, oh damn, that was his first song. Then they listen to whatever's recent and they're like, sheesh.
I want to ask you just like a wrap-up question, and
sure,
going back to what I first asked you, your first concert, what's been your favorite concert?
A really good set was when Metallica came to Philly, and that was like in 2017. Oh my god, they were so good live, and like the way that it was the way they talked to their fans, almost like their community, where it's like they said, and they've always said this too, where they're like we're Metallica, yeah, but like you're Metallica too, where they would like just tell people too, like you are a part of it, like you're that fifth person. And that's where I thought, I'm like, hey, that's a good idea. It's like a really good way of looking at it too, where you think to yourself, like, that's why some of these bands are so connected to these artists, or that's why some of these artists are so connected to these fans, is because they make the artist makes the fan feel so much closer to them and makes them feel like they are like that fifth band member or that second band member or whomever, what number of band members before you. Anyway, they would almost like put you in that exclusive thing where it's like like that's I don't know how to describe it. It's like that spark of just, it's like
There
what gets you
needs
hooked
to-
on a band.
Yeah, it makes sense too, because it's like, you know, if you made the music in a vacuum, like if other human beings didn't take it in, it would just be. I mean, it's good to make it for yourself, of course, if it helps you or whatever. But yeah, there needs to be this synergy between.
That's the word. There needs to be almost like a balance, almost like where they can kind of be in tune with you and you're in tune with them, where it's like you just kind of feel it. It's like just this non-tangible air that just kind of exists, where it's like they love you for being a fan and you love them for just who they are. And same could be true for like when I saw Feed Me back in 2019 during the Teeth tour. That was when we got to see him. Like, oh my God, such a great set. I love that set. I was like right there, and then the Teeth were right up there, and oh my God, great set. Feed Me was one of them. Above and Beyond, when I saw them.
Oh yeah, I've never seen Above and Beyond, and that seems like a mistake.
They were amazing live. Great lasers too. Like there's just so many different artists that I saw live where I kind of took mental note and said, they did this very well. And then they did that very well. And then I'm kind of thinking to myself, okay, it's like you learn from these different artists, like, okay, don't talk on the mic too much or play out different rarities that a lot of the diehard fans know of. That's why like so many Metallica fans try to get them to play like a lot of Injustice for All stuff, but then you think it's because they're long songs, they can barely play it. And I remember also another good one was when I saw Rush back in 2012, and they had the orchestra with them too. Like they had a whole orchestra with them behind them, or like I think a violin section. I think it was a violin section. They had that with them too. And then I thought, that was a really cool incorporation too, where you invite other artists on stage with you and like as you're playing and whatnot. There's just so many different things I take from so many artists that I've seen live, like from Com Truise to Polyphia. Like I've seen them live so many countless times, and Metallica and Tycho, and another one was Two Door Cinema Club. And like I've just been to so many concerts, and I just kind of take it all in, and I think to myself, like, I know how to approach it. I know how to present my personality and who I am to people whenever I'm playing live too. It's like don't take yourself so seriously, but to an extent where it's like you can make them have a good time.
It also seems like there's a study hall aspect for like when you see it, you're like, like how does this compare to other shows? And like, like how can I maybe be more effective in like what I'm doing? You nailed it. There was a meme I saw recently where it was like when you're a musician, like going to go see a band, and it's like there's a picture of like a football game, and then you there all dressed up in like a football gear, and you're like ready to go, and it's like you can't. Like you want to be an artist and play there, but you're like, I'm just gonna stand here and watch. yeah.
But
that's funny. Or like the producer meme where it's like just the guy like this, and it's just like massive GUI and like all these different like equations and like stuff.
You're like,
thinking about how to make the sounds and whatnot.
You're like, how did he make that? Yeah, I know what you mean.
I feel like
all the time. This one is pretty much done. This is kind of like a rough. I'd say this is like 95% done. There's other things I got to add in there, nuance and stuff like that too. Sounds pretty good on headphones, actually.
Yeah.
I was channeling my inner Feed Me and Polyphia for this one.
Dude, this arpeggiator sounds crazy.
Like there's so many different bass elements in there too that are good too. You'll like it. Yeah, I was wired on coffee one night and I was just like, all right, I'm in the zone. And I wrote it. But that was one of the most recent ones that I've written. And I'm like still surprised I wrote that.
Did you make the graphic for this one too? That one's pretty cool. I like that.
Yeah, I did that too. For a backstory, like I've got my warehouse label that I do, and then I also do stuff through Legion of Bass, which is Jag's label. Shout out Jag and Legion of Bass. And they started off as like a DJ collaboration type of thing, and then I started releasing under the Legion of Bass thing. There's also Kuda Kuda Records, which is like one that I started, which was like, you know, early days electro house and stuff of like 09, 2010, 2011 stuff, like just, you know, party music. And then now I'm collaborating with D-Night and Panther, shout out Panther, with this one label we're doing called DBX Limited, where it's drums, bass, experimental, and that's what we're doing. And this is like one of the tracks I'm going to use for it, and that's why I was like kind of experiment with the label.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's final yet, but
we'll see, man. Everything's a work in progress.
Oh yeah, we can play Jawbreaker too. We'll play like the first minute and a half of it. I absolutely love this melody. So I wrote the pads first, and then I wrote the top lead for it, and it reminds you so much of like early days Monster Cat. And I'm like, do I attempt to send this to them and become like, you know, the Monster Cat family? Like, do I get in there in that realm? But like, then people would know me for something that's not even completely, but
it might be worth a shot, you know. Who knows?
It might be. You'll hear the melody and you're like, oh my God, this is so cool. So play it. I'll shut up.
Are you writing those in like on the guitar? Damn, so you're quick. You're like fingers over here.
Oh yeah.
Have you ever showed someone that process of the guitar?
Oh yeah. Here it comes. And then the melody comes back.
This is sweet.
I was like channeling literally all of like the stuff I was like kind of getting into back when I was like first starting like guitar and all that, where I was just learning all the harmonious like different scales and stuff where it all kind of like intertwined together. When I was making this and the other one, the Euphorica one, the names are subject to change. For now, it's like a good placeholder, but I don't know. I think the future for me would probably be like experimental and then get somewhere like with drum and bass. Actually, I've been making a lot of good drum and bass, and then I'll probably come full circle and come back to like house and progressive house and all that, and electro.
Hell yeah, man. Well, dude, just thanks again for doing this with me.
Oh, my pleasure. I'm happy to be here. It was awesome to actually. I never done a podcast before. I've never been on a podcast. I have written music for one, but I've never actually been on one.
Well, I like doing them in person better. So if you're ever in Chicago, we can do another one. Or if are you out in Philly or no? Not right now.
Yeah, I'm around there.
Oh,
yeah,
okay,
I might. I even talked with your boy Sam there. I was like saying, "Yo, I'll fly out to Cali and help you move back home when time comes." Oh. And then he's like, "Oh shit, dude, we'll do a road trip." Like.
Ooh, that'd be fun. Yeah, I mean, if you're ever here, I would love to like, you know, meet you face to face. Any friend friend of Sam is a friend of mine. He's a good guy.
Oh, I know. He's an awesome guy. Shout out again to Pax Romanov.
Shout out. Word, man. Well, I will end this call here so we can stop the recording, but I'll be in communication with you, and we'll figure out some release stuff and like plan that whole thing. And also I just wanted to give you the opportunity to, plug anything. I know we've done a lot of shout outs, but like, just like where people can find you, Spotify, wherever.
Thank you again for having me here. I really appreciate your time, your effort, and just having this conversation. I don't know how long we've been going on for.
I don't know. We'll edit,
Like I said, I was like telling some of my buddies before I was going on here, I said, I can talk for a long time. So I don't know how long or how much time he's got.
There's no cap. Like it's whatever.
If I'm going to shout out anything, I'll say, all my music is on Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon, I think Tidal as well. I think Panther ripped a lot of my music from Tidal. And I'm like everywhere, like any sort of obscure, like Deezer or MediaNet, anything. I think I'm on Napster too, if you can believe that.
Oh, that's a deep cut. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a deep cut. And you can find all my music there. You can follow me on SoundCloud at Malware, m4lw4re. Same thing for Instagram and YouTube as well. I post a lot of remixes on there, and I post a lot of unreleased stuff on there too. At least I'm trying to. Slowly but surely, like you said, it's a process. I just got to keep coasting. And now, shout out to the Warehouse community. Shout out to the Warehouse Discord. By the way, you can look up Warehouse W4 Warehouse on Instagram, and you can join us in there too. I'm always in there frequently, so are a lot of our fans and friends and all the community people. Like, love to have you. And shout out all my friends, music producers, shout out all the artists and such that has collaborated with me, remixed, whomever, like all of you. You know who you are. Thank you. Thank you so much. And I appreciate you.
Hell yeah. Well, thank you, man. I appreciate you.